When I tell you to picture the worst motorcycle of all time, you probably picture an old Suzuki or maybe even a Buell Blast. But what if I told you that it's even more common than that? I'm talking about the Kawasaki Ninja 650. It's a weird middle ground between a beginner bike and an advanced bike that seemingly has no place in either category. But is it really that bad, or are people just wrong? Today we're gonna find out. To test the plethora of claims against this motorcycle, I went out and bought this 2013 Kawasaki Ninja 650 to put to the ultimate sport bike test. We'll test various factors such as speed, handling, aesthetics, and more. Each category will be rated on a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the best. Upon completion, we'll analyze the results. If the bike gets an average score of 5 points or more, we'll rip it. But if it falls below 5 points, we'll skip it. That kind of sounded better in my head, but we're gonna roll with it. But before we begin, let's take a quick walk around this bike to see what features it comes with, or lack thereof. The first thing that you'll notice is the outdated looking dash. Even for a 2013, it's still a bit rough. It displays your speed, fuel levels, clock, and odometer, but that's really about it. Another common complaint is its outdated looks. Compared to a ZX6R or Yamaha R6 from the same year, the 650 definitely does not compete. This bike also comes with a 2-cylinder 649cc engine producing just under 70 horsepower. Both wheels come equipped with some decent brakes that aren't quite as good as other bikes in the same class, but they're usable. And lastly, this rather interesting rear shock placement. I don't know how to feel about it. So why do so many people hate on the Ninja 650? Well, there seems to be hundreds of reasons, but throughout my research, I found two specific reasons that kept popping up time and time again. The first and most common thing is that it isn't a very sporty sport bike. Though Kawasaki has classified it as such, it doesn't really have any of the characteristics that sport bikes tend to have. Secondly is that it's pretty underpowered for its class. One Redditor described the Ninja 650 as the Toyota Corolla of motorcycles. That doesn't really sound too positive, but I'm sure we'll find out exactly what that means pretty soon. The very first thing that we're gonna test is the motorcycle's aesthetics. So I went ahead and took a picture right here to post on Instagram to ask you guys what you think about the bike based on aesthetics alone. In a couple hours, we're gonna come take a look again and see what the results are. And that will be the score. While we wait for the results, it was time to take the Ninja 650 out for a ride to test the bike's performance. Okay, so we've got the bike outside now. We're gonna go ahead and do a cold start on this stock exhaust, stock Ninja 650. Let's see how it goes for the sound test. 3, 2, 1. That sounded a little scary. Again, doesn't sound crazy at all. Let me let it warm up a second and then I'll give you guys a little tiny rev. Nothing crazy. Kind of a boring sound, I'm not gonna lie. No stock exhaust really sounds all that good. You can probably even see it on camera, like how far away these handlebars are and like how adventure bikey it looks. Like this whole dash is quite large. The mirrors are pretty far out. The windshield isn't very narrow, it's kind of wide. It doesn't feel like a sport bike. From that standpoint, I can understand why people would say that it's not a real sport bike, because in a sense, it really doesn't feel like it yet. But we're gonna go to an undisclosed location in Mexico to do a speed test and see how quick this bike is, because maybe the power will make up for how hideous it is. Okay, so we've arrived at the location where we're gonna do the speed test. We're just gonna go probably through third gear or so, depending on what the bike wants to do, and we'll see how it actually performs. I'm a bit weary because I'm well aware that this class of bikes is not supposed to be fast. We're not gonna compare it to things such as like the ZX10R and the ZX6R. We're gonna look at it from the standpoint of what it is. It's a 2-cylinder motorcycle, and that's how we'll do the scoring. So we'll get a couple tests going here. Let's see. 3, 2, 1, go. Pretty surprised at that. That was a lot quicker than I thought it would be. It does help that it redlines at 11,000 RPMs, so you can really dig into the power. Let me loop back and we'll do another speed test so we can get a good read on it. Okay, coming through this turn here, we'll start at 40 this time. 3, 2, 1, go. Impressed. Ow! Oh, I just destroyed a bug. That hurt. Oh my gosh. Ow, dude. Okay, let me get these bug guts off me and we'll make a final decision. Okay, I'm actually pleasantly surprised. That was pretty quick. It's not the fastest bike in this class that I've ridden. It's nothing close to like the Aprilia RS660 or other things like that, but it definitely does have plenty of power to get you around, which is actually pretty unexpected for this bike. I thought it would do a lot worse than it did. The braking wasn't my favorite, but who needs brakes when you're just going straight, right? 600 guys? That's right. So honestly, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll probably give this an 8 for its speed. Again, not the fastest bike in this class that I've ridden, but definitely definitely not the slowest either. Not bad. Well done. After testing the bike's speed, it was time to move on to the next test. The bike's handling. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about suspension. And I think I found the perfect place to test it. You saw on the side of the bike that massive spring. Surely that's got to be for something, right? So I want to see how it does over some bigger bumps. I can't do a single video without off-roading a bike. I'm sorry. I have to. But already, compared to the R6 that I took off-road, this is a lot better. It's not too bad. It obviously is still technically classified as a sport bike, even though nothing else about the bike is sport-like, which we will dive into in just a second here. So off-road, it's not the greatest, but again, not an off-road bike, and it's not an adventure bike. I don't know what it is, but on the road itself, even after hitting multiple potholes, because I seem to be a magnet for those, the bike was pretty decent. It's nothing crazy. I think overall, in terms of suspension, we're going to have to knock it down. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 5 out of 10. It does what it's supposed to do. It's suspension. It's a little bit on the softer side, in my opinion, for a sport bike. Okay, we're approaching the twisties now. I'm actually excited to see how this performs. On the way up here, you know, this bike is really long, and I'm curious if it's gonna feel like a stretched motorcycle would in the twisties. I took a wrong turn, didn't I? I sure did. Okay, this is not where I was trying to go. Everybody knows that stretched motorcycles are not good in the twisties. But something about this bike that you might not be able to tell with the camera is the handlebars are so far away. Like, I feel like I'm reaching for them almost. This jacket that I'm wearing is a sport jacket, however you want to call it. And it's made to make a sport bike riding position comfortable while you're sitting on the bike, right? The elbows kind of have a slight bend to them, but I'm kind of fighting against that with this. I don't know, it's like I'm trying to stretch my arms out, but the jacket's saying, no, don't stretch your arms out, tuck in like a sport bike. But tucking in on this bike is literally just leaning forward. That's not really tucking, which makes it a little more of a comfortable ride, but a little less exhilarating, which I feel like motorcycles are supposed to be an exhilarating experience. The ride over here, I've just been comfortable. I didn't have any urge to rip the throttle or anything like that. Like, I've just been kind of comfortable. Felt like a Harley rider. It was bad. It was really bad. I don't ever want to experience that again. I hate comfort. Go through a couple more of these little twists and turns and see, yeah. It's exactly how I expected. Like, it does feel like a stretched bike. This bike is so long. I did some research when I got home, and as it turns out, the 650 is actually very similar in length to the R7 that I'm used to riding. However, this bike does statistically have a longer reach to the handlebars, making it feel as if the bike itself is longer. So a little bit of placebo here. I'd be interested to take this bike to the track and see how it does. For handling, I'm gonna go 4 out of 10. Not the worst in the world, not the best, pretty average, kind of like the suspension was. And I think those two kind of play hand in hand a little bit as well. It's been a couple hours now since I started this journey, and I'm gonna go ahead and check on the Instagram story that we posted earlier to see what people are thinking about this bike. A lot of 6s. 6 needs to be a different color. 6, 1000 favorite bike. I doubt they even know what bike it is. 6, I'm a sucker for matte black. It's literally green. What are we talking about? 5, 6, 7. Okay, are we serious? 9, 7.5, 8, 6 or 7. Okay, it seems like everybody is saying 6. So aesthetics for this bike, the looks of it, people think arguably agreeable that this bike is a 6 out of 10. So far, this bike is just adding up to be a middle of the pack motorcycle. Nothing crazy, nothing outrageous, nothing horrible, but maybe it's just a little misunderstood. Maybe this little sport bike doesn't know what it needs to be, doesn't know what it is, doesn't know what it wants to be, but we're gonna test one more thing. Practicality. I think we can score some good points here. We're gonna take this bike on the highway, just do some practical riding, not ripping through turns or anything like that. But before we do that, we have a little bit more of this track to go. Well, track. Texas is full of straight roads. This is as curvy as it gets. One thing that I will say is that this motorcycle is very good at being a motorcycle. It's nothing crazy like I just mentioned, but it's a usable machine. It's still like fun to drive in the aspect that it's a motorcycle, better than a car, you know? It kind of just lacks a little bit of character, I guess. It's almost like it's trying to be too many things at once. It's just not great at anything, and it's so weird. Like, these twisty turnies are fun on this bike, but oh my gosh. Hello. It's fun. Like, it's not the ideal bike. If I could choose any bike in the world to ride this road on, it wouldn't be this one. As you can see, I'm trying to find any compliment to give this bike, but it's a little bit hard. That being said, I still have high hopes for this practicality test. Okay, so we're about to hop on the highway here. So far, just like I said, I mean, it's kind of like a Harley. I feel like I'm comfortable. I feel calm. I don't feel very energetic. I just exist. It's nothing crazy. Say we're going for the perspective of this is a comfortable bike. Well, I would wish that the windscreen was a little bit taller to block some of the wind, but that's just not the case because apparently it's a sport bike. I don't know what this bike is. Just a weird motorcycle. I think I understand why people don't like it. So we're about to hop on one of those little highway clover things, Let's see if we can push the bike over a little more. I'm not the greatest rider by any means, but it definitely doesn't feel, it just feels odd. Like I don't know, it feels like a stretch bike. It really does feel like a stretch bike. You know, the highway felt nice, this is nice. The suspension is stiff, but also squishy enough. It's almost kind of relaxing to drive this thing on the highway. So in terms of practicality and comfortability, we'll call it the commuter test. I'll give the commuter test honestly like a 7 out of 10. I would like it to be a little bit more exciting, but you know, at the end of the day, it does what it's supposed to. Kind of like the Honda Civic of motorcycles, it feels like. Not bad, not good, just is. Oh, we're on our phone. Why are we on our phone? Now I'm gonna have to brake check you and then get rear-ended and then say that my neck hurts. Bummer. Just kidding. Okay, so we'll go ahead and head back home now and tally up all the scores to see if this bike truly deserves the hate that it's been getting online. The Ninja 650 gets a 6, but I don't know if that's very accurate. See, now that I've finished recording the video and I'm thinking back on how much fun I had on the Ninja 650, I kind of want to change the score a little bit. So as is, we got a 6 out of 10. So technically, it's a rip it. I just gotta stop. But if you were to ask me personally, all things considered about the Ninja 650, what score out of 10 would I give it? Well, to be honest with you, I'd probably rate it closer to a 3 or a 4. It's a motorcycle. That is it. Nothing fun, nothing fancy, nothing flashy, doesn't look very cool, isn't very fast, doesn't sound good at all. It's really pretty bad. I think it's a good bike for a specific group of people. Somebody who wants a sporty looking bike but doesn't really care too much about power, but also somebody who wants, somebody who wants, I don't know, man, somebody. It's for somebody. It's not me, but it's for somebody. That being said, that's gonna do it for this video. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button down below. It helps me out a ton, and I'm trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. We're not there yet. We're gonna get there though. Thank you all. I love you. Bye-bye.